we are learning a lot more information about a 19-year-old from Knox County who was arrested and charged in connection to a plot to kill a lot of people that were at the UFC South Lawn birthday event for President Trump on Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to say, this was just Sunday.
This was just Sunday, and he was this 19-year-old. His name is Tycen Proper. Let's pull up his mugshot here. Again, we're just learning all about this, but he was arrested on Saturday, and he was a part of a group that the FBI is now saying there were 19 others. First, it was 5 were arrested, and now it's a group of 19 they're discovering that were planning this attack at the UFC event where 4,000 people were gathered on the South Lawn at the White House. So we have the criminal complaint that was filed in the Southern District of Ohio. And I'm just going to read it because there's a lot of information. Like, I'm trying to think of where we can begin.
Right. But maybe before we get into that, can we break down how we actually even got to this arrest? Because it's interesting, because mom ended up calling.
Right. It was mom and dad. They were noticing that $3,000 of Tycen's graduation money was gone, and it was going towards buying guns.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is just out of the normal behavior. And then they, in this document, it says that he was having some other strange behaviors and bringing up interesting topics he doesn't normally talk about. And so they were the ones that contacted authorities. And then from there, the Knox County Sheriff's Office, they got a warrant to search through his phone. And that's how they found this group on TikTok. And then this group that started on TikTok then got moved over to the platform Signal to carry out this planned attack.
Right. And Signal is a messaging app similar to like WhatsApp and whatnot, but Signal is used by a lot of groups because it is encrypted and it's hard to be traced.
Right,
That's
exactly.
kind of the whole pull behind Signal is it's used by far left and far right groups to do things.
So right now, this 19-year-old, he is facing 4 charges: conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States, attempted murder of an officer or employee of the United States, possession of a firearm and furtherance of a crime of violence, and then a recipient or transfer of a firearm used to commit a felony. And again, this was all stopped before it could get out of hand.
Yeah.
And 3 people have been arrested. They're still looking for 2 others. 2 others were arrested in Southern California. We know that Tycen was arrested here in Ohio on Saturday. So there's still 2 others they're looking for. But now, like, the FBI around 6 a.m. said there's 19 other people that might be involved.
Right. And there was explosive drones were part of this?
Yeah, there were going to be drones to blow up basically the UFC octagon, which was on that South Lawn. And then from there was a plan to have snipers on buildings to shoot at people running away from the drones. It's just a really chilling thought of doing that with so many people in a concentrated area. I mean, it's scary.
Right. And do we have a motive behind this yet? Was that anywhere listed in that affidavit yet?
Let me go through this.
But,
Mother and father, they were, so basically the father said that Tycen was planning to meet up with one of these individuals over the weekend. And he had acquired camping gear, food, ballistic plates, and a new shotgun, rifles, and a lot of ammunition, extra magazines, and plate carriers. And he spent $3,000 of his graduation money to purchase these firearms. And actually, we have a photo of one of them. This is from the Justice Department. They released this yesterday. And this was one of 2 firearms that the sheriff's deputies in Knox County, they confiscated from Tycen. So this was one of the weapons that was apparently going to be planned to be used in this attack. So that was that's an AR-style rifle, I believe, that we're looking at. Yeah, with the American flag painted on it. So this all goes back to June 11th, which was Saturday, I believe. Let me pull up my calendar. No,
June
Thursday
11th was last Thursday.
Was Thursday. So that is when Proper's mother first contacted the Knox County Sheriff's Office and was kind of like, this is concerning behavior.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, commending the parents for parenting correctly. We talk about that a lot. And they saw the red flags and, alerted authorities. So mom goes into the details with police about these group of individuals that her son had grown to be a part of that leaned heavily into like religion, and she believed that the individuals were using religion to manipulate and influence her son. And this is directly coming from this criminal complaint that was filed that we got our hands on yesterday. So when continuing with this, so then on Thursday, which was June 11th, that is when the sheriff's office executed that search warrant at the home in which Proper was living with his parents. And that's when they got the phone and they saw a large quantity of boxes full of ammunition, rounds of spent cartridge casings, and then other tactical clothing. So really, from this criminal complaint, they're really outlining that there was a major plot to do something on Sunday. So then Proper's family, his parents, also highlighted concerning statements that he had made in recent months, such as making sympathetic comments about Adolf Hitler and posting anti-Semitic comments on Facebook. So I'm assuming from this document that, you know, that the red flags already kind of went off with mom and dad, and they were already kind of catching on to this, and
going on.
Things were elevated last week. So then the Knox County Sheriff's Office, they went through his phone with a search warrant, and they found chats on Signal, which is that encrypted communication app, that laid out detailed plans to conduct the attack in Washington, D.C., with several unidentified Confederates. Now, in the chat, a detailed imagery of the National Capital Region and maps of the area were also shared in the group, of which Proper was a member, highlighting sniper locations, potential drone launch locations, and other detailed tactical planning. So then he was then arrested after that search warrant was executed, and they sat him down for an interview. This is all detailed again in the criminal complaint. And so when he was being questioned by authorities, he said basically he expressed a desire that a group of people were involved with Jeffrey Epstein and they should not govern our country. So again, kind of getting into these conspiracy theories and whatever was discussed on this TikTok group and then into the Signal group chat. So this is when the criminal complaint goes into. The group started out on TikTok. And the group members had to show their trustworthiness and their commitment to the cause, such as identification documents and videos of their abilities and workouts.
Gotcha. And I mean, we've seen that as kind of a repeated pattern, that online discourse on conspiracy theories and the like have driven people in these online spheres to act out and make those kinds of determinations.
So this is when it gets really interesting. So I know this is a long document, but hey, we have an hour, right, Colin? So some more of the serious members in the group, including Proper, moved their communications over to Signal then from that TikTok group, like I just explained, and they were planning the attack in all of this messaging for the White House UFC event. Now, Proper believed many of the group members had prior military experience, which is interesting. And the group was actually broken up into 3 tiers. So tier 1 was having to meet physical fitness standards and acquire equipment such as personal body armor and firearms. And Proper admitted to law enforcement authorities that he was one of those team leaders. So then Proper went on to describe the general plan of this attack and said all members would leave their homes on Friday or Saturday, which would be June 12th or June 13th of 2026, to meet up in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And Proper himself was planning to drive, taking his weapons and his body armor, including the AR-15 and all his ammunition, which we showed you a photo of, his tactical vests, his ballistic plates, and he planned to take extra body armor as well for other members in this group. And he planned to pick up another member who also had firearms. And then investigators identified who that individual was, who they believed to be in West Virginia. So Proper said that although he was not going to the protest, to the UFC event to shoot people, several other members of the group were having intent to create some sort of violence. So more of these details in this criminal complaint. I mean, Proper kind of admits to a lot of the plan with authorities. And he told law enforcement officers that he knew there was like that demonstration stage. We're talking about the UFC octagon on the South Lawn. And he described that while this demonstration was taking place, the UFC fight, the group would fly small unmanned aircraft, drones, with unspecified explosive devices, which would detonate over the north side of the UFC arena. So when the unmanned aircraft would detonate, the intent was to force the crowd attending that UFC event, a high-value target, HVTs, to evacuate all to the south. So they were trying to, induce that fear. And then Proper said the plan was for the members of his group to act as snipers and have additional shooters, preferably with long guns, staged at or near the southern evacuation point to conduct shootings of the members of the crowd and the HVTs as they fled from the explosive devices, which had just been detonated. So that was what the plan was, to launch these drones and then from there have these snipers that were hiding around hurt and injure these people that were running from the scene. So this was all part of the plan that's outlined in this criminal complaint from the Southern District of Ohio. And again, the FBI this morning, they believe that there's 19 others involved and that 3 have been arrested. They're still searching for 2 others, and I'm assuming the FBI is still looking for others today. So we're going to keep following this. I actually reached out to the Knox County Sheriff's Office to see if they can sit down and talk to us today about all of this in more detail. They seemed willing, and they said they were going to be releasing a statement actually in the next couple of hours or so. They said sometime this morning. So we're going to keep following this. Obviously, none of this ended up transpiring, but again, could have been a much worse situation.
Right.